Here are the most cursed situations from my school years. Number 1. How I caused a fire at the school play. We're going to start off with one of the most brutal public disasters I've ever been in, when one dumb costume decision turned a silent background role into a complete inferno that stopped the show, destroyed the stage, and gave me a nickname I still can't escape. So the whole thing starts in 7th grade, back when I was convinced that getting any role in the school play would somehow transform me into a cool, artistically respected person, instead of just another kid who ate lunch alone by the vending machines. The drama teacher announces auditions for this big spring production, some original fairy tale script she wrote herself about a princess who learns to believe in herself or whatever. And I show up thinking maybe I'll land a speaking part, maybe even a named character, something I could put on a college application 6 years later. I prepare this whole monologue, practice in the mirror, really commit to the process. Audition day comes and I completely freeze on stage, forget half my lines, and deliver the other half in this weird robot voice, because I'm staring directly into the stage lights and can't see the drama teacher's face. 2 days later, the cast list goes up, and I'm not a guard, not a villager, not even a rock. I'm tree number 3. My official credit in the program is literally tree number 3, and my only direction from the drama teacher during the first rehearsal is to be more arboreal, which I don't even know what that means, because I'm 12 and my vocabulary is like 60 words. But I commit anyway, because at least I'm in the play, at least I'll be on stage, and maybe if I'm the best possible tree anyone has ever seen, people will remember me for something other than that time I tripped during gym class and accidentally kicked a basketball into my own face. Now the drama teacher makes it very clear that the school has zero budget for costumes, so everyone has to provide their own. And for most of the cast, that's fine, because they can just wear normal clothes or borrow something from their parents. But I'm a tree. I can't just wear green and call it a day, because this is my one shot at theatrical glory. And I'm going to make tree number 3 a silent masterpiece of physical performance. So I convinced my mom to let me use this gigantic refrigerator box from the new fridge we just got delivered. And I spent an entire weekend in the garage building what I truly believe is an avant-garde costume that will redefine what it means to be a background tree. I cut armholes, I cut a neck hole, I punched 2 tiny pinholes for my eyes so I can see directly forward and literally nowhere else. And then I go absolutely insane with the decorations. I glue on hundreds of crinkled craft paper leaves using this industrial strength adhesive I found under the sink. And because regular leaves aren't magical enough for a fairy tale, I coat the entire thing in this gold spray paint that the art teacher donated from her personal stash. She tells me it'll make me look mystical and enchanting, like a tree from an enchanted forest. What she doesn't tell me is that this specific brand of discount craft spray paint is essentially pressurized gasoline in a can, and that every single leaf I just glued on is now a tiny piece of extremely flammable kindling, waiting for a spark. But I don't know that. I just know I look incredible. I wear the box home on the bus, and 3 separate people ask if I'm supposed to be a toaster. The next 2 weeks of rehearsal are completely uneventful. I stand in my spot on stage left. I do the tree waddle because the box is so rigid I can't bend my knees. And I watch the rest of the cast actually act, while I'm basically a sentient piece of furniture. The drama teacher keeps telling me I'm doing great, which I now realize is what you say to someone whose only job is to not fall over. But at the time, I'm convinced I'm nailing it. The princess, this 8th grader named Madison, who's genuinely talented and takes everything way too seriously, practices her big solo. Over and over. It's this song called Princess Dahlia's Lament. Very slow, very emotional, very quiet. And she's supposed to sing it center stage while the trees, that's me and 2 other kids, stand perfectly still in the background to represent the loneliness of the enchanted forest, or whatever. During rehearsals, everything is fine, because we're practicing in the cafeteria with normal overhead lights. No heat, no danger, just vibes. But nobody thinks to do a full technical rehearsal with the real stage lights until the night of the actual performance, which is the first and most catastrophic mistake in a series of cascading disasters. Opening night finally arrives, and I show up early to get into costume because the box takes like 15 minutes to wiggle into. And I need help taping the bottom flaps so I don't look like a tree standing in a cardboard diaper. I'm backstage, fully committed, fully immobile, seeing the world through two pinholes like I'm a medieval knight, except instead of armor, I'm wearing a fire hazard. The stage manager, this senior named Kyle, who's way too intense about high school theater, positions all three trees on stage, and I end up directly under this massive light, a Parcan 64, which I later learn is a 1,000-watt heat cannon that professional theaters use to create dramatic lighting, and that absolutely should not be inches away from a cardboard costume soaked in flammable chemicals. But Kyle doesn't notice, I don't notice because I can't see up, and the show starts. The first 20 minutes go great. I'm nailing the tree performance, not moving, breathing quietly, fully embodying the spirit of an enchanted plant. The audience is into it, the actors are hitting their marks, and I'm starting to think maybe this whole thing is going to end with me getting a standing ovation for my brave and innovative interpretation of tree number 3. Then we get to Princess Dahlia's lament. Madison walks to center stage. The lights dim except for one spotlight on her and the ambient glow from the Parcan 64. That's currently baking my cardboard box like a pizza oven. She starts singing, and it's actually beautiful, very emotional. The kind of performance that makes parents in the audience tear up and take out their camcorders. I'm standing perfectly still, being the best tree I can be, and that's when I smell it. Burnt toast. Just this faint, crispy smell that doesn't make sense because we're in a theatre and nobody's making breakfast. I try to look around, but I can't move my head, and I can't see anything except directly forward through my pinholes. So I just keep standing there, hoping the smell goes away. It does not go away. It gets stronger. Then I see it. One single, tiny, beautiful orange flicker on the edge of my vision, up where my highest paper leaves are, apparently brushing against the stage light. For one stupid second, I think it's just a reflection, a trick of the spotlight, maybe some glitter glue catching the light in a pretty way. Then the flicker turns into a flame, and the flame makes this soft woof sound as it jumps from one leaf to another. And suddenly, my entire right arm is on fire. Not smoking, not smoldering, on fire. Actual flames climbing up the cardboard like I'm a birthday candle. Now I'm faced with the single most important artistic decision of my life. Do I break character, scream and run off stage, ruining Madison's big emotional solo and destroying the integrity of the production? Or do I stay in character, honor my commitment to tree number 3, and just quietly burn to death in front of 200 people while maintaining the illusion of an enchanted forest? I'd like to say I made the choice quickly, but I genuinely stand there for a solid 3 seconds, fully on fire, debating whether this is my big method acting moment. The audience notices before I do anything. A few people start laughing because they think it's a special effect, like we planned a comedic burning tree bit in the middle of a serious fairy tale. Then more people start pointing, and the laughter turns into gasps, and someone's mom in the third row screams, "Oh my God, that kid is on fire!" Madison, bless her, is so deep into the song that she doesn't notice until the smoke starts drifting into her spotlight. She stops mid-note, turns around, sees me fully engulfed, and lets out this piercing, blood-curdling scream that her body microphone broadcasts to the entire auditorium at full volume. That's when I break. I abandon tree number 3, I start flailing, and I try to pat out the flames, but my arms are stuck in the box, and I can't reach the parts that are burning. The cardboard air pockets inside the box are feeding the fire from the inside out. The glitter glue is acting like a fuse, and I'm basically a walking campfire doing the tree waddle across the stage. Madison, in a moment of pure panic and heroism, runs over and starts beating the flames on my back with her sparkly scepter, which does absolutely nothing except spread tiny bits of burning glitter onto the stage floor. That's when Kyle, the stage manager, finally processes what's happening. He sprints on stage from the wings, screaming, "Tree 3 is on fire!" into his headset like he's calling in an airstrike, and blasts me with a carbon dioxide fire extinguisher. The cloud is massive. I can't see. I can't breathe. The audience can't see the stage. and the fire alarm goes off because apparently the smoke detectors work better than any of us thought. The sprinklers don't go off, thank God, but the alarm is loud enough that the entire cast freezes and the audience starts evacuating in this very calm, very resigned way, like they've all accepted that the school play just became a legitimate emergency. I finally ripped the box off, pieces of charred cardboard falling everywhere, and I'm standing there in my regular clothes, covered in white extinguisher foam, missing one entire eyebrow. The fire is out, the play is over. The stage has a burn mark the size of a trash can lid scorched into the historic hardwood floor. Kyle is still holding the extinguisher, staring at me like I just personally attacked him. Madison is crying, not because she's hurt, but because her solo got interrupted and she's not going to get scouted by a Broadway agent like she hoped. The drama teacher walks on stage, looks at the damage, looks at me, and just says, "Well, that's certainly one way to be more arboreal." The show does not go on. The school cancels the remaining 2 performances, calls everyone's parents, and sends out an email the next morning about fire safety and the dangers of homemade costumes. The burn mark on the stage costs $5,000 to repair, and the insurance claim takes 6 months to process. The local newspaper runs a story with the headline, "High school drama becomes too hot to handle," and includes a photo of me still wearing half the box with my singed eyebrow and a 1,000-yard stare. The school district creates a new policy, officially called the Tree Number 3 Mandate, that bans all non-fire retardant homemade costumes from any future production. And me? I escape with one missing eyebrow and a permanent nickname that follows me until graduation. Everyone, and I mean everyone, starts calling me Sparky. Teachers call me Sparky. The lunch lady calls me Sparky. People I've never spoken to in my life pass me in the hallway and just yell, "Sparky," like it's my legal name. I try to fight it for like a week, but eventually I just accept it. Because what else am I going to do? Tell people I prefer to be remembered as the kid who quietly burned on stage instead of the kid who loudly burned on stage. So yeah, that's how I caused a fire at the school play. 1 refrigerator box, 1,000 watts of stage lighting, and 1 extremely flammable interpretation of what it means to be a tree. I never auditioned for another play again. Madison got into a performing arts high school and probably tells this story at parties. Kyle works in actual professional theatre now, and I like to think he has PTSD every time he positions a stage light. And me? I learned that sometimes the most memorable performance is the one where you fully commit to burning down the set. Bro, I was just trying to be a good tree.